I'm her man now. Her husband's a joke. The text glowed below a smug selfie of a blonde man in tennis whites.
Ryusei, my wife's tennis coach. Bold of him to message me directly.
Yamato's breathing remained steady, his fingers unmoving as he processed the words. With 2 calm taps, he captured the message and the selfie, the evidence stored.
Arrogant fool. He sent this right in the middle of Mayu's lesson, thinking he could mock me.
He glanced at the tennis bag by the door. Mayu had rushed off after work, barely meeting his eyes.
She has been stressed lately, distant. Is this the reason? I need proof before I confront anyone.
Yamato canceled his evening plans without a second thought. This took priority. The message taunted him from the screen. He'd respond on his own terms after finding the truth. Outside, the city droned on, unaware of the quiet storm brewing inside that apartment. Sleep offered no refuge. The message replayed behind his eyelids like a taunt.
Mayu has been so on edge. Even a casual mention of tennis makes her go pale.
Last Thursday, she had rushed out for a late lesson, phone clutched tight, eyes averted.
I told myself it was work stress. Now I'm not so sure.
Morning came, and he found himself watching her prepare once more.
She didn't even notice me standing there. Her mind is elsewhere. I can't keep guessing. I need to see what really goes on at that court.
He made a decision. He would follow her to the club, stay hidden, and observe.
No accusations. Not yet. But if that coach touched her, I'll know.
The screenshot remained on his phone, a promise of reckoning if the truth proved as ugly as he feared. The tennis club gleamed under the midday sun, its white columns pristine and unwelcoming. Yamato walked through the gates with a borrowed guest pass, his cap pulled low. Behind the chain-link fence near Court 3, he found a gap, unseen, with a clear view. On the court, Ryusei stood behind Mayu, hands resting on her shoulders, his mouth near her ear.
That grip isn't instructional. It's a claim.
Ryusei's thumb traced small circles against her collarbone. Mayu's shoulders stiffened.
She looks trapped, not willing. Why doesn't she push him away?
He raised his phone and captured the scene in silence. Ryusei's hands, Mayu's frozen posture.
That message wasn't a lie, but the truth might be more complicated than I thought.
The lesson continued, but Yamato stayed, cataloging every touch, every glance. The moment the lesson ended, Yamato melted into the flow of members and trailed Ryusei toward the clubhouse.
He moves with the confidence of a man who believes he owns this place.
Inside the lounge, Ryusei leaned close to an elegant woman in designer activewear, Mrs. Tanaka. His hand grazed her wrist as he laughed at something she said, the gold chain catching the light.
Another one. He is a predator disguised as a coach.
Yamato took out his phone, recording the exchange from behind a decorative pillar. Mrs. Tanaka's cheeks flushed, her wedding ring glinting as she tapped Ryusei's chest playfully.
How many wives has he done this with? And how many keep quiet out of shame?
When Ryusei slipped a folded note into her palm, Yamato's jaw tightened. He saved the recording and backed away, the club's polished corridors suddenly feeling like a hunting ground. Yamato needed more than recordings. He needed a name. He found the club employee Aoi in a quiet staff hallway.
I'm Yamato. I need you to tell me the truth about Coach Ryusei. What kind of man he is.
I can't. I don't know anything. Please, this could cost me my job.
But Aoi's hands trembled, and their eyes darted to the lockers.
He targets married women. He's ruined 3 marriages that I know of, but nobody reports him.
Then help me make it right. Give me names. I have the power to stop him.
Aoi pulled a thin folder from their bag, hands shaking. Inside were printed screenshots, text threads, and a list of names, all women Ryusei had pursued.
Mayu. She's on this list too. He targeted her. Targeted all of them.
Yamato closed the folder and tucked it under his arm. Now he had everything he needed. Now he would act. That evening, Yamato sat at his desk and typed Ryusei's name into a social media search. The profile was public, a gallery of flexing selfies, tennis trophies, and comments from women swooning over his perfect form.
He flaunts it online. Every like is another trophy for him. And yet, not a single photo with Mayu. She's just another name to him.
The apartment door clicked open. Mayu returned from work, her greeting muted, and her smile too quick.
How was your day? Did tennis help with the stress?
It was fine. Same as always. Actually, I'm a bit tired. Can we talk later?
She never used to brush me off like this. What is she hiding?
At dinner, 10 minutes of silence stretched between them, broken only by the clink of cutlery.
She's guilty. I'm sure of it now. But I need something solid.
Mayu left her phone on the kitchen counter when she stepped into the shower. The screen lit up with a new message preview. Yamato paused, then quietly slid the phone toward him. Her passcode was still their anniversary. The thread with Ryusei opened. "You looked stunning today. Too bad your husband never appreciates you." Mayu replied, "Don't say that."
Don't say that. Not stop or I'm married. Just a weak deflection.
He scrolled. Ryusei's compliments grew bolder. Mayu's replies remained short, never encouraging, but never a firm rejection.
She's not flirting back, but she's not shutting it down either. She left that door open.
His finger moved automatically, screenshot after screenshot, capturing the entire thread. He locked the phone and placed it exactly where it had been, the screen now dark. An hour later, he sat across from her at the dinner table, the screenshots burning in his pocket.
I have proof. But why does this feel like I'm missing something?
In a locked desk drawer, beneath old tax forms, he found the divorce papers they had signed once before but never filed. He spread them on the dinner table and began filling out the empty lines. His pen moved slowly.
If she's already gone, why am I hesitating? This should be easy.
Mayu emerged from the bedroom, her eyes red. She saw the papers and froze.
Yamato, what are you doing? Please, can we talk?
Not now. I'm busy.
He didn't look up. The pen trembled in his hand. Mayu retreated to the bedroom, the door clicking shut behind her. He heard a muffled sob.
That sound, I know it. She's not crying because she's caught. She's crying because she's breaking.
He set the pen down, the papers still unsigned. The screenshots on his phone had told him part of the story, but not all of it. The next morning, Yamato tailed Mayu at a careful distance, his cap low, his phone ready. She kept glancing over her shoulder, not at him, but as if expecting someone else. He slipped behind a parked car, watching her disappear through the club gates. Through the chain-link fence, he saw Ryusei stride onto the court, arms wide, and Mayu step back. Ryusei grabbed her wrist, his grip too tight, and Mayu yanked her arm away.
I told you no more. I'm done with these private sessions.
Ryusei laughed, but she turned and hurried toward the clubhouse, not looking back.
She's not his lover. She's fighting him off.
The phone in his pocket had recorded everything. The grab, the shout, the retreat.
That's not guilt. That's fear. I almost made a terrible mistake.
Yamato called Aoi, voice tight. In the back hallway, Aoi handed him a second folder, thinner than the first. He opened it. Inside were call logs and messages, not flirtations, but demands. You can't quit, Mayu. I'll make sure your husband finds out you've been cheating, even if you haven't.
Cold manipulation. She wasn't weak. She was blackmailed.
The messages grew aggressive, timed calls, threats to ruin her reputation, reminders the club would back him.
He made her believe she had no way out, and I was ready to abandon her.
The last log showed a 30-minute call from Ryusei to Mayu, ending just before she'd returned home in tears. He closed the folder with hands that no longer shook.
This ends now. Not with divorce papers, but with his career 6 feet under.
The racket inside the bag waited like a promise. He knew how to use it. Before leaving, Yamato cornered Aoi in the quiet hallway, urgency in his voice.
Did Mayu ever try to report Ryusei? Tell me everything.
She did, weeks ago. Director Ito said there was no proof and shut it down, but I kept a copy of her complaint. He never filed it.
The unfolded memo revealed Mayu's handwritten plea. He won't stop. Please help me.
She begged them to stop him. They chose to protect him instead. Thank you, Aoi. You've given me everything I need to end this.
He left the club, the memo crinkled in his pocket, the weight of the racket comforting in his bag.
Director Ito wants proof? I'll give it to him in front of everyone.
He opened his phone and began composing a message to Ryusei, a simple invitation for a friendly match. No threats, just bait. Yamato came home to a darkened apartment. In the bedroom, Mayu lay curled under the covers, her back to the door. He crept closer. Her face was tight, even in sleep, her fingers clutching the blanket. A pained whisper escaped her lips. Please, I can't. Stop.
Those words weren't random, they were the echoes of a torment he had missed.
He remembered her forced smiles, how she'd flinch at his touch, her apologetic eyes. He sat on the edge of the bed and gently brushed a strand of hair from her forehead.
I won't let her suffer alone. I'll protect her, no matter the cost.
Gradually, the tension in her face eased, her breathing becoming deep and regular. His gaze fixed on the tennis bag in the corner. The plan was set. Ryusei would pay.
I'll fix everything. Just trust me.
In the early light, Yamato stood before an old photograph, a teenage boy with a national junior trophy, grinning in his tennis whites.
National junior champion. Back when tennis was my whole life.
Next to it hung another frame, Yamato with 2 ATP top 20 players, his current clients. He pulled the vintage racket from his bag. The strings were worn but still tight. At a private indoor court, rented under a false name, he began to practice.
The grip feels foreign, but my body remembers.
He served. The ball ripped across the net, painting the line with a satisfying thud. A single drop of sweat fell onto the sweet spot. His old form was returning.
I've still got it. Ryusei won't know what hit him.
He spent 3 more hours drilling until his muscles ached with a familiar burn. In a bright cafe, Yamato slid a thick envelope across the table. Aoi stared at it, hesitant.
Make sure Director Ito is at the club for Mayu's next lesson. He needs to witness this.
But if Ito suspects I'm involved, I'll lose my job.
Yamato leaned forward. Inside the envelope were detailed schedules and a list of key members to alert.
When I challenge Ryusei, the whole club will watch. Every woman he's wronged will have a voice.
I've waited for someone to stop him. Just tell me what to do.
The plan was set. Aoi would leak a rumor of a special exhibition match, ensuring a crowd. Yamato sat back. His phone buzzed with Ryusei's reply, a challenge accepted.
Perfect. He's walking right into it.
He unzipped his bag. The vintage racket rested beside the folder of evidence. The trap was ready. That evening, the apartment was dim. A soft, broken voice drifted from the bedroom.
I feel trapped, Yuki. Ryusei won't stop. He keeps threatening me. If I tell Yamato, he'll think it's my fault. It's better to just endure this alone.
Each word dripped with shame and fear, a confession torn from a prison of silence. His hands clenched into fists, knuckles white against his thighs.
She's protecting me, and I almost betrayed her when she needed me most.
He turned away from the door, her sobs echoing in his mind, a sound he'd never forget. His resolve sealed over the guilt like ice over a wound, cold and final.
Tomorrow, I'll free her, no matter what.
He didn't sleep that night. The plan was set. The noose around Ryusei's neck had grown tight. The next morning, Mayu moved through the apartment mechanically, filling her water bottle, adjusting her racket bag. Yamato appeared in the doorway, dressed in a black athletic jacket and carrying his own racket bag.
Yamato? Why are you dressed like that? You never come to my lessons.
I thought I'd watch today. See what you've been working on.
Her face paled, fingers gripping the strap of her bag until her knuckles turned white.
No, you don't have to. I'm fine. Really, it's boring.
She's terrified I'll see him. But not for the reasons I once feared.
He stepped closer, resting a hand on her shoulder. His eyes held a calm strength she hadn't seen in months.
It's going to be a good lesson. Trust me.
In the car, tension tightened the silence like a drawn string. Mayu stared out the window, her reflection a mask of anxiety. They stepped onto the club grounds. The sun beat down on the pristine courts, but the air around Yamato was ice. Ryusei lounged by the clubhouse, a cluster of admiring women around him. When he saw them, his grin widened.
Well, well. The husband finally came to watch his wife get a real lesson.
Mayu flinched beside Yamato, her nails digging into her palms.
I'm just here to observe. Don't let me interrupt.
A small crowd began to gather, whispers spreading like a spark through dry grass.
You could use a few tips yourself, old man. I'd be happy to teach you a thing or two.
He's begging for an audience. Perfect.
More members sidled over, and even Director Ito appeared at the edge of the terrace, watching with interest. Ryusei had unknowingly gathered the very crowd that would witness his downfall. Yamato stepped away from Mayu, his eyes fixed on Ryusei with unnerving calm.
You flaunt your skills openly. How about a friendly match, right now?
A match? With you? I'll give the whole club a show they won't forget. I'll even go easy on you.
Teach me a lesson then. I insist.
Excitement rippled through the crowd. Even Director Ito leaned forward, his expression unreadable.
Yamato, don't. He's been coaching for years. You don't even play.
He met her panicked gaze and gave a small nod, a silent promise. Ryusei snatched his racket and strode to the court, gesturing for Yamato to follow. The crowd surged toward the court, buzzing with anticipation for the spectacle. Yamato walked to his side of the net, his grip on the racket steady. The trap was sprung. Yamato tossed the ball high, his body coiling like a spring. The serve cracked through the air, a blurred line on the far baseline.
He froze, racket still. That wasn't luck. No amateur hits like that.
The next serve hooked wide with spin. Ryusei lunged, but the ball skipped away untouched. The scoreboard flickered to 30-love. Spectators exchanged confused glances. Another flat ace right down the center line. The ball left a chalk mark as it kissed the back of the box. Mayu's hands pressed over her mouth. She looked from the scoreboard to her husband as if seeing a ghost. A fourth point, a soft return that Yamato tapped into the open court. Game. The wooden scoreboard clacked as the one flipped at the top. Yamato led 1-0. In the stands, Mayu's tears fell, but her eyes held a spark of something long forgotten. Hope. Ryusei stepped to the baseline, his shoulders tight. He bounced the ball 6 times, then launched a serve that curved wide. Yamato read the spin instantly, stepping into a backhand that lasered down the line. Ryusei didn't move.
This court is terrible. The net is too loose. You got lucky, that shot was out.
Yamato just wiped his forehead with the back of his hand and took position for the next point. Game after game slipped by, a rhythm of precision and silence. The scoreboard clacked mercilessly. 2-love, then 3. Ryusei began grunting with every shot, pounding his racket against his palm between points. Yamato responded with an understated nod, then broke him again, a drop shot that died before the net cord. In the stands, Mayu's hands had fallen to her lap. She wasn't praying anymore. She was watching a resurrection. Set point. Yamato tossed the ball a fraction higher, and the serve thundered into the corner, an ace. The first set ended, 6-0, and Ryusei's racket clattered to the court. Ryusei snatched his racket and stormed to the umpire's chair, jabbing a finger toward Yamato's racket bag.
That racket is illegal. The strings are too tight. I demand an inspection.
The volunteer umpire inspected the racket and declared it regulation. Snickers rippled through the crowd.
This is a setup. You're all trying to humiliate me. I won't stand for it.
Boos erupted from the stands. Mayu watched, a hand over her heart, as Mrs. Tanaka shook her head and turned away. Yamato uncapped his water bottle, took a slow sip, and gazed calmly at the sky. He hadn't moved. Director Ito captured the outburst in a few sharp notes, his pen pressing hard into the paper. Yamato placed the bottle down and walked to the baseline, rolling his shoulder once. He was ready. Ryusei returned to his side, but the crowd's trust had shattered. He was alone now. Ryusei tried a desperate lob. Yamato sliced it back low, barely clearing the net. Ryusei flicked a drop shot, but Yamato sprinted, sliding on clay to push it deep. A thunderous forehand whipped across the net, landing flush on the sideline. Ryusei could only watch. The scoreboard clacked. 1-0, second set. Yamato had barely broken a sweat. Ryusei rushed the net, waving his racket. Yamato lobbed him perfectly, the ball landing just inside the line. Another delicate slice stayed low, forcing Ryusei to dig awkwardly. His return floated wide. 2-0. The crowd buzzed, a mixture of awe and schadenfreude.
How is this possible? He's reading my mind. Every move I make, he's already there.
He's unraveling. Just a few more games, and this nightmare ends for Mayu.
Yamato stood at the baseline, his expression unreadable. As Ryusei's game crumbled point by point, Ryusei stepped up to serve, his toss wavering. The ball flew long. Another double fault. He smashed his racket against the clay, strings splintering. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Yamato showed no reaction, only a flick of his wrist, a cross-court winner that kissed the line. Another point, then another. Yamato's shots were surgical, leaving Ryusei stumbling after shadows. The scoreboard clacked relentlessly. 3-0. Ryusei's next serve was weak, a puff into the net. He stood frozen, eyes wide. Yamato closed out the game with a delicate drop volley that left Ryusei staring at the net. 4-0, then 5. The crowd leaned forward, breath held. Yamato stood at the baseline, the racket an extension of his will. 1 game remained. Yamato tossed the ball, his motion fluid. The serve kissed the line, a clean ace. Ryusei's racket never moved. Another thunderous serve. Ryusei lunged, but the ball was already past him, kissing the back corner. A third ace, even faster. The scoreboard flickered to 40-love. The crowd murmured in awe. On match point, Yamato's serve was slightly slower, but Ryusei's return floated weakly over the net. Yamato stepped forward and volleyed it sharply into the open court. Game, set, match. The wooden numbers flipped one last time. 6-0, 6-0. A double bagel. Ryusei's legs buckled. He sank to his knees on the clay, racket lying beside him, chest heaving. A stunned silence held. Then a smattering of applause broke out for Yamato, not for the defeated coach. Yamato walked to the net, not to shake hands, but to collect a fallen ball. He hadn't even broken a sweat. Mayu rose from her bench, eyes streaming, but a smile touched her lips. The nightmare was over. Yamato reached into his bag and pulled out a thick folder, its edges worn from handling. He walked to the sideline where Director Ito stood, still silent, and extended the folder. Ito took it, his sharp eyes narrowing. He opened the folder and began to read. The screenshots, the messages, Mayu's complaint. It was all there. Ito's jaw tightened. His face flushed red, then white. He looked up at Ryusei, still kneeling on the court, with undisguised contempt. The director's silence was louder than any outburst he could have made. He closed the folder and looked at Yamato, a grim understanding passing between them. The crowd buzzed, sensing the match was only the first act of a much longer drama. Ito tucked the folder under his arm and stepped onto the court, his voice cutting through the murmur. Ito stood over Ryusei, the folder raised like a judge's gavel.
You can't quit, Mayu. I'll make sure your husband finds out you've been cheating, even if you haven't. These are your words.
Gasps erupted. Mrs. Tanaka covered her mouth. Others backed away from Ryusei as if he carried a disease.
And Mayu wasn't the only one. Yuki, Naomi, Mrs. Tanaka, 3 other women you harassed.
That's a lie, she came on to me. You have no proof.
Enough. I have screenshots, call logs, and her handwritten complaint, which you blocked.
Ryusei's face drained of color. His mouth opened, but no sound came. The crowd's murmur swelled into a wave of disgust. A woman in the back shouted, "Throw him out." Ito lowered the folder and stared down at the man who had called himself a coach. There was no mercy in his gaze. Ryusei sat alone in the wreckage of his reputation. His career at this club finished.
Ryusei, you are fired effective immediately and banned from these premises.
2 security guards stepped onto the court, their shadows falling over the fallen coach. They grabbed his racket bag and pulled him upright by the arms. Ryusei stumbled, still shouting.
You'll regret this. I'll sue every one of you. This club is nothing without me.
His threats dissolved in the empty air, the heavy gate clanging shut behind him. No one turned to look. On the court, Mayu stood frozen, her hands trembling, her body shaking with silent sobs. Yamato walked toward her, his step steady, his eyes gentle for the first time in weeks.
It's over. He can't hurt you anymore.
Mayu collapsed into him, burying her face in his chest, finally letting go of the weight she had carried alone.
Yamato, I need to explain.
Not here. Not now. Let's go home.
He wrapped a protective arm around her, steering them through the dispersing crowd that now stared with pity. The heavy club gate closed behind them, sealing out the whispers. The car door opened like a sanctuary. The engine hummed a low note. Mayu pressed her forehead to the window, her tears streaking the glass. Yamato gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. The silence stretched between them like a fragile thread. The city lights blurred past, a silent parade of normalcy that felt utterly foreign. At the apartment, Yamato unlocked the door and guided her inside. The familiar scent of home hit like a memory. She stood in the center of the living room, arms limp, the weight of the evening finally pressing her still.
Take your time. I'm here.
It started 6 months ago. He praised my backhand, then my appearance. I thought it was just coaching. But when I tried to quit, his messages turned threatening. He said he'd ruin me, tell everyone I came on to him. You can't quit, Mayu. I'll make sure your husband believes I'm the victim. Those words played in my head every night. I was so scared. Scared of shaming you. Scared you'd think I was unfaithful. So I just endured.
Her voice cracked, the words pouring out like a dam finally breached.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you. I thought I could handle it alone, but I was wrong.
Yamato paused, then slowly knelt to her level. His features lost their earlier sharpness, replaced by something achingly gentle. He said nothing, but his silence held her like an anchor. The clock on the mantelpiece ticked once. The storm inside her chest finally began to quiet.
I knew, Mayu. I saw his messages on your phone and nearly tore us apart with my suspicion. I almost divorced you. But then I saw you push him away, and I understood you were being harassed, not unfaithful. Forgive me for not being the husband you could confide in. I should have seen your silence as a cry for help.
You knew this whole time? Why didn't you say anything?
Because I needed to fix the sin I committed against you first. I had to expose him and earn back your trust.
A shuddering breath escaped her, the last chains of her fear breaking loose.
I thought you'd leave me. I was so scared.
He pulled her into his arms, and she crumpled against his chest, crying not from pain, but from profound relief. Their tears mingled in the silence, washing away the poison of weeks of suspicion and silence. For the first time in months, they were not two strangers under the same roof, but a husband and wife healed enough to begin again. The next morning, soft light pooled on the breakfast table. Yamato set down a glossy brochure beside her toast.
There's a club across town. Prestigious, clean management, great coaches. I've already secured a membership for us.
You already did this? But after everything that happened, are you sure tennis is still good for me?
A cloud passed over the sun, then cleared. She looked toward the window, remembering the courts that had caged her.
This time, your coach will be someone you trust. Someone who will never hurt you. I'd like to coach you myself on weekends, like we used to dream. No more fear, just us.
Her eyes glistened, but these tears were light, weightless.
You'd really do that? After everything, you'd still want to teach me?
I'd love nothing more.
The new tennis club gleamed under the sun, its glass facade welcoming and open. Mayu stepped out of the car, her eyes widening at the pristine courts stretching before them. Yamato took her hand, guiding her toward the entrance with quiet confidence. Inside, the air smelled of fresh paint and possibility. Members chatted amiably, no shadows of the past.
It's so different from the old place. I almost can't believe it.
This is where we start fresh. No memories here except the ones we'll make.
They walked past courts where laughter replaced tension, each swing a celebration. At registration, a friendly staff member handed them membership cards. Mayu's hands trembled with relief.
I'm really free, aren't I?
He squeezed her hand. For the first time, the court felt like a playground, not a battleground. A few days later, dawn painted the new courts gold. Yamato stood opposite Mayu, a basket of balls at his feet.
Watch my grip and the follow-through. You want to hit through the ball, not just push it.
He demonstrated a smooth forehand, the ball arching gracefully over the net. Mayu bit her lip, stepped up, and mirrored his swing. The ball flew long, but she didn't flinch.
That's the spirit. Now, loosen your wrist. Let the racket do the work.
Her next swing connected cleanly. The ball sailed just inside the baseline.
Perfect. See? You had it all along.
Mayu's laugh joined his, a sound he hadn't heard in months, light and free. She lifted her racket for another serve, her smile reaching her eyes. Tennis was hers again. A month later, a bright banner announced the club's informal couples tournament. Yamato and Mayu stood side by side on the court, rackets ready. Their synergy was effortless. Yamato's sharp volleys at the net, Mayu's steady ground strokes from the baseline. After a clever drop shot, they high-fived with a laugh. Other couples watched and applauded, the earlier whispers of scandal long forgotten.
We make a good team, don't we?
The best.
They cruised through the final set, Yamato's serve and Mayu's net poaches sealing a comfortable victory. As the last ball sailed long, the court erupted in cheers. They shared a look, a silent understanding of how far they'd come. Hand in hand, they walked off the court, leaving the last shadows of the past behind. Later that evening, the sun melted into the horizon, painting the empty court in hues of amber and rose. Yamato slipped his arm around Mayu's waist, pulling her into the warmth of his side. At home that night, a quiet peace had replaced the old tension. The past was finally another country. His phone lay on the coffee table, the screen glowing not with a cruel message, but with a new wallpaper, a photo of them laughing on the court. Mayu's hand rested in his fingers interlaced, no longer trembling with fear but steady with newfound trust.
No more secrets. Just us.
She looked up at him, and the last shadow in her eyes melted into the lingering twilight. Their lips met in a soft, unhurried kiss, a silent vow sealed under the fading sun. The racket rested against the bench, its battle won, as the screen dissolved gently into black, leaving only the echo of their laughter.